Hello and welcome to the Strategic Bookkeeper podcast. In today's episode, I am going to give you an in real life with Jeannie, a part of the sales process as I'm doing it in real life, okay? And what I really want is for you to be able to see what I'm doing or hear what I'm doing, to compare that to what you do in the same circumstances during this part of the sales process. And I want you to be able to take away things that allow you to also use my book and all my other content to then say, okay, now I get it. Now I know how I could enhance what I do in order to be more competitive and be more valuable, because it is absolutely up to us to value ourselves, and then it is our responsibility to be able to convey our value to our prospective clients and our clients. So love to jump into this in real life with Jeannie sales process. So how about we get stuck in?
I'm Jeannie Savage, the Strategic Bookkeeper. I'm an award-winning entrepreneur, author, speaker, trainer and coach. After 13 years in practice and after scaling into a lifestyle business where I could choose my own adventure, I'm sharing my secrets to success, my secret sauce recipe on how to build a thriving practice, delight your clients and ultimately live your dream on your terms. This podcast is a companion to my book. In each weekly episode, I'll share strategies for scaling and success. This is your time to shine, to step up, to become a strategic bookkeeper and enjoy all the benefits it brings to you and your clients.
Okay, let's go. So I was thinking of recording this podcast exclusively for the members of my program in my private podcast, but I was thinking I could share it with the broader community. The reason that I have a private podcast is partly because with the members of my program, some of the things I share only make sense to them because they have all the education and the assets, right? So we all know all the things we know and we've got all the tools we need. Whereas certain things, if I was to share them publicly on this podcast, they probably wouldn't make sense and you wouldn't be able to take the action so easily, right? So that's what I think about when I create a private podcast, thinking about I've got some amazing content to share, but is it going to resonate with bookkeepers more widely, or is it only going to resonate with the members of my tribe? Okay, so with this podcast interruption, just to let you know, if you did not join the program when the doors open on August 1, and they opened for 14 days before my team and I rocked up live, it doesn't mean that you can't join in. The program is evergreen. Okay, so we have a way to bring you into the program seamlessly, beautifully, so that you can absolutely start working with me to build your thriving practice, delight your clients, and live your dream on your terms. If you are keen to know how that works, just drop us an email or ask in the private Facebook group. I'm always really grateful for that because then I can help the many as well as the one. Or simply use the link that will drop in the show notes or go to the website, pretty easy, and jump into the program because two things. Number one, it comes with a money back guarantee, or let's say three things. Number two, I do not get you to spend extra time working with me. This is about on the job. Yes, I've done other podcasts on that. And number three, that money back guarantee, it kicks in after a year, but my expectation is to help you get the ROI really early, so that pays for the program. But yes, we're going to spend a year together. So back to the podcast. With this podcast, I'm going to give it a red hot go. It's seeing if I can get it to resonate and for you to be able to take action whether you are in my transformation program or not. Okay, so it's a bit of an in real life with Jeannie, and a lot of the podcasts I do in my private members podcast are that in real life with Jeannie. So I have my bookkeeping practice, and one of the major benefits of that, because I don't really work in it a lot, okay, so I don't have to have my hands on the wheel, so to speak. That's kind of under management. It takes care of itself. Beautiful little boutique team. I do some really high level business strategy with a couple of clients still. I'm not taking on any more strategy clients, as all my focus is on the strategic bookkeeper. But one of the benefits and what I do is I'm able to build and test and measure and change things up in my bookkeeping practice and play, so to speak, and see what the impact and the result is before I ever do an update to anything in my program. Okay. And look, change and updates, they are required, they are necessary. And it's one of the reasons that I hope to work with everyone in my tribe for the long term. So the program is a lap around the sun, but beyond that first year, absolutely, I'm expecting bookkeepers to want to continue the journey on some level. Yeah. So we have a range of levels you can opt into in order to continue to be supported. So in this case, I want to talk to you about, it's definitely part of the sales process. So I'll tell you in real life with Jeannie, I was just at my property that's being renovated at the moment, and the painter was there, and I've seen them a few times. And I was just saying today how I don't really have the interior design gene. I'm a numbers girl. I said, I'm an accountant, right? I'm a management accountant. And the painter said, hang on a sec, you're an accountant. I'm not happy with my accountant. Could you help me? So I said, I'm not an income tax accountant. I'm a management accountant and I'm a bookkeeper. Tell me about what you need help with. And it was the bookkeeping primarily. Okay. So they've got a big high-end accountant doing the bookkeeping. They're not happy with it. Yeah. He told me a couple of things he's not happy with. They're not, if we talk about the three parts of the buying decision. Yeah. So relationship, convenience, and price. I think all three of those are lacking in this case. Okay. I've done other podcasts on that, so I won't dive into that right now. But based on what he said, the relationship isn't strong. He's not getting a convenient on-time service, and he certainly doesn't feel like he's getting a bargain. Yeah. And if relationship's not there and convenience is not there, all you've got left is price. Oh my goodness. So he's given me his business card, and today I'm emailing him. And I really just want to connect to all the other podcasts I've done and my book, okay, because this podcast is a companion to my book. So all the other podcasts I've done and my book are going to really make sense of what I share here, okay? So if you're just tuning in and you haven't read my book or you haven't listened to many of my podcasts and you're a bookkeeper anywhere on the globe and you want to build and maintain a thriving practice, yeah, delight your clients and live your dream on your terms, you are going to, no excuses, read my book and tune into my podcast. And in fact, I would recommend that you immerse yourself in me and my thought leadership. And I'm more than happy to give you the other books and podcasts I recommend you tune into. But the worst thing you can do is go wide like a sprinkler. Yeah. You want to focus like a fire hose. And so that is singular thought leadership. And my systems and processes and thought leadership, it's all proven. It's proven in my own business, and it's proven with the members of my tribe who often within 4 to 8 weeks are getting, a massive, massive return on investment. So it works. Okay. So we know this is a proven system that works. And if you are vibing with me and my system, my recommendation is that you immerse yourself in it. Okay. So I've come back and I thought, right, I'm quite busy. And to be honest, our bookkeeping practice is currently on wait list. I would not talk to my right hand about another client right now. So she doesn't know that I'm reaching out to someone. But I have decided that even if I onboard this client, I would handle them end to end because I like to keep my finger on the pulse, yeah? And actually timing my right-hand Joe and I were just talking about me taking on a little account so that I can just keep my fingers through every part of the practice, right? So I've come back to the office, and the reason I have emailed this prospective client immediately, so that's within 24 hours, rather than go, well, we're booked up, we can't take on more clients, we don't need more clients, rather than leave it, I'm going to contact him straight away, because trust me now and believe me later, whether you need clients or not, you need to start putting them through the customer journey. And I'm sure I've done podcasts on that. So yet again, I'm not going to cover that again. I'm going to recommend that you just listen. I also have a free amazing training series, like holy cow training series free. It's called Profit First, How to Build and Maintain a Highly Profitable Practice. That is available for you. I'll get links to that dropped in the show notes. Okay. But if you can't find it, you know where to find us. Hello at thestrategicbookkeeper.global. The reason I mentioned that is I go into the customer journey a fair bit in that training series. Yeah. So it is a training series that you watch on video. However, you can listen to it podcast style as well and get lots out of it. And then you can go back and look at the parts of the video that you really want to. Okay. So we want to put this PC, prospective client, through the customer journey, and I need to contact him straight away because we spoke and I said I'll reach out. Yeah, promises kept. Once again, I'm going to make an assumption for the rest of this podcast that you have listened to all my stuff and you've read my book, or you're going to. So I'm not going to over-explain concepts that I've already explained elsewhere. Okay, so promises kept, nothing more important than that. So I want to talk about the email that I've sent this PC and how you perhaps can think about the science and art and the moving parts and what you can do. So I'll read it out and then I will tell you the moving parts and how you can look to do something or take action that helps you to elevate your value, etc. Okay. So it says, I'm going to say, hi, Josh. Firstly, your paint job. Wow, thank you so much. Now, bookkeeping and tax. Please watch this 5-minute video about us here. Hot tip, you can speed it up 1.2 speed. After that, the next step is a 15-minute needs analysis, which I can do anytime during or after hours. You can either call me on my mobile number or book a call in my calendar here. One last thing, in the meantime, here's my podcast. Chat soon. Okay. So the very last thing I do after I send that, I use, and this is a really good productivity tip. Okay. Because I love to say, and this is my unique thought leadership, is there are 3 really main things that I see when I'm working with bookkeepers to create success. And I came up with this after we launched the program because I was seeing it in the real world. Yeah. So that is the mechanics, the mindset, and the productivity. Okay. The mechanics, because when you join the program or when I give you the book, the podcast, etc., I'm giving you a whole lot of the mechanics, the doing things, yeah, all the business things, the things you need to know, build, do. I'm giving you those, the mechanics, yeah. And if you join the program, my goodness, you get the keys to the kingdom. And everybody gets the same keys to the same kingdom, yeah. So then why do some find success and others struggle more? And I tell you, there's not much I won't do to help every member of my tribe have success. So I was looking at that and I realized that the other 2 parts were mindset and productivity. Yeah. So I'm going to give you a productivity, exactly what I do, Jeannie, in real life. Yeah. That I've learned over the years. So I use Google Suite, so Gmail, Google Calendar, etc. And I know Microsoft has similar functionality. So no matter what you're using. So I send that email, and then what I do is I go back to that email and I hover over his name and I add him to my contacts, and then I edit the contact and I add his phone number in. It's so important because then what happens is that contact is all really nice and clean and clear in my phone. So as soon as I did it at my desk in my email, I've come to my phone and then his details are in there. We need all of our database to be in our phone and on our email and in our socials. And then I have sent him a text message and it says, "Hi Josh, it's Jeannie from," and I put the address of the street of the reno, right? That's where he knows me. I didn't put my business name because is it about me? No, it's about Josh. All right. So, "Hi Josh, it's Jeannie from X address, the bookkeeper. Just letting you know I've sent you an email. If you don't get it, check junk or spam or just sing out. Have a great weekend." And he said, "Cheers." Such a critical little step, yeah, in a world where emails do end up in junk. So now I want to go back and talk to you about how you can use some of the science and art of what I've used, okay? So we'll go back through that email. So where I put the 5-minute video about us. So we have what's called the $1 Million Storybook brochure, which is at the heart and soul of the done for you brand and brand assets that I give the bookkeepers in the program. Now, if you don't have that and you want to use my book, you're going to get my brand building playbook and my menu building playbook. And with those two things together, you can build out an extraordinary asset that you're able to use to create a video sales letter. Yeah, and that is the About Us video, okay? Now, what that video is meant to do is lots of things, so many things. So you may have a website, you may have social media, yeah? So why would I send a video? Well, the video is going to be something that, for so many reasons, goodness. So first of all, it's going to have my voice, yeah, so the psychology of sales there. Now, rather than have Josh go to my website and navigate the website all by himself, with the video that I send him, I'm able to, in 5 minutes, take him on a walk from A to Z of the value of our practice. So that video in 5 minutes is going to basically, the reason we call it the $1 Million Storybook brochure, one of the reasons, is because it's actually going to tell a story. And the story will be kind of like, once upon a time, there was a client named Josh and he found Cloud9 Strategic. And then it will basically begin to stack the value of who we are and what's in it for Josh. Yeah. So you'll have heard me say people don't buy what you do. That's the bookkeeping. They buy why you do it. And that is the benefit of the bookkeeping. Once again, this is all in all my other collateral. Okay. That video is going to really quickly allow me to make sure that Josh knows everything that he needs to know in order to be foaming at the mouth to press go on working with me. Now, my $1 Million Storybook brochure and my video, because that is done over the brochure, actually also overcomes any objection around price, because we have a top secret strategy that our program participants get that's in the brochure that removes the price objection and allows you to charge whatever you want, really, without price as a priority. I mean, within reason. But yeah, definitely removes price as a priority, sometimes makes price irrelevant. So then when I say to Josh, after that, the next step is, okay, so what I'm saying, I'm taking complete control and telling him I know exactly what the next step is, okay, and that is a 15-minute needs analysis. Yeah, all that's explained in my book. Now, when I say I can do that during or after hours, some bookkeepers that I've met have said, oh, I would never do anything after hours. So what I would say to that is that successful entrepreneurs do the things that others won't. They do the things that others don't. Yeah, that's a Jeannie original, and it's very true. Now, how often do you think I have to work after hours? Hardly ever. Yeah, I love my business and I don't mind at all if a PC or a VIP, that is a prospective client or a client, needs to talk to me after hours because something's happening in their business that during hours isn't convenient. I probably talk to a client once or twice a year. Yeah. And a prospective client. And when I do, that's because I'm available. Because if I wasn't available, I just wouldn't be available. So to say that is removing a barrier, because I don't know this person. I don't know what's going on in their life, right? And then I let them know they can either call me, I call that kick it old school, or book a call in my calendar. Yeah. Now, the science and the art behind that is that giving you a call on the mobile at some time is just great. Then they're like, I can call Jeannie even if it's 6 o'clock at night. And they would always be polite and say, I know it's after hours. Are you sure this is all right? The point is, I am removing all barriers to act, and you have to as well. I'm making it all about Josh. And then I'm also giving Josh an option to 24 hours a day. So even if he is up at 1 a.m. and can't sleep and has decided to check his email and he sees, from Jeannie, and she's got a calendar link, great. I can't call her at 1 a.m., but I can book into her diary. I can deal with it right now. Then I know that's sorted, easy. Yeah. You need all of these things in place. If you don't have these things in place, I want you to stop right now and ask yourself, okay, this is what Jeannie does. Yeah. What could I do to recreate this practice? Yeah. That leads to such great results. Okay. And then my last line is one last thing in the meantime. Here's my podcast chat soon. So my podcast, which you can see at betterinbusiness.global, is a nurture asset. Okay. A nurture asset is what I also call a welcome line. So it's a welcome line nurture asset in your product ladder. So your product ladder has 4 steps on it. Yeah. Content, welcome line, core products, succession products. So this is step 2. Again, all explained in all my other collateral. So the podcast, betterinbusiness.global, aims to help my market do better in business as I serve up high value content. But in every episode, it pitches that pillar 1 for success is up-to-date, accurate bookkeeping. And it's also now pitching my Strategic Bookkeeper network, who are forming part of a directory we have. So the podcast I set up some time ago with a view to it benefiting and creating demand and desire for strategic bookkeeping services. Okay. So it's a great nurture asset. Yeah. And if you've heard me talk about the customer journey, what I've just done here with this email is I have reached out to Josh. I've given him a digital asset, being the video, that will stack our value and competitive advantage and allow Josh to begin to build a relationship with me digitally. Yeah. So that is so important. And then I have given him an easy way to get in touch with me. And then I've given him more digital asset, being the podcast, to continue the 7-11-4, which is the 7 hours over 11 touch points over 4 platforms in the customer journey to get to know, like, and trust me, so that when he is ready to take the next step, he comes to me knowing everything he needs to know, already having established a relationship with me and ready to buy. So when that happens, Josh and I swing into needs analysis. I don't have to tell him anything about me. He knows everything. He's already convinced that I'm the best person to work with. Now, here's the sweetener. In the meantime, and this is actually happening in my practice as we speak. So let's say there's a scenario in which we get a year in and I've kept in touch with Josh, but he hasn't moved ahead because it's inconvenient to move from his current accountant. Let's say he has a 1-year-old, he's super busy. But in the meantime, he was so impressed with me that he told a heap of other people who also got in touch, and he even personally referred people to me. That is literally happening with one of my prospective clients, okay? So I want to keep this podcast as short as possible. So I'm going to wrap up now and just kind of summarize and let you know what this was all about as well, okay? So I wanted to give you this podcast in order to really move you from, I would call it, kind of doing these sales process activities without as much intention and collateral as you could be doing them, okay? And then moving to a place of intention. Someone said to me the other day, or a lot of times lately, Jeannie, how do you get so much done? How do you get so much done in your professional and personal life? And I thought about it a lot, and I realized that one of the big things in my life is intention. Yeah. Rather than you just send an email to someone who wants bookkeeping that says, hi, Josh, here's my details, sing out, if you want to talk about your bookkeeping. Like, that is what I call the no strategy hustle. Yeah. I want you to move to a place of strategy and intention, okay? So lots of science and art here. And what we're leveraging, just to summarize, we are leveraging my brand assets. Yeah, we're leveraging attraction strategy. The brand assets include the menu, okay? And we're definitely leveraging probably some of the conversion process as we begin to help Josh self-assess his demand and desire to work with us, okay? So I feel like in that podcast, if you're in my tribe and listening, and I'm absolutely going to ask my program tribe to listen to this one, they're just going to say, oh, yep, got it. This is amazing. I've just got some extra things to think about here, but I totally understand everything Jeannie is saying, right? So everything I've said here, they have graduated this once they are in the program for a very short period of time. This is all common knowledge to them. If for you, any of it feels new and overwhelming, that's okay. You're just going to read my book twice. You're going to listen to all my podcasts. You are going to immerse yourself in all things The Strategic Bookkeeper and in me, that it all does make sense over time. Okay, I think that's a wrap on the podcast. I hope you did get value out of it, and I will catch you in the next episode.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a question you'd like answered on my podcast, please email me, hello@thestrategicbookkeeper.global. Did you know we have a private Facebook group called The Strategic Bookkeeper's Way? There you'll find bookkeepers just like you on the same journey where you can ask questions and get support. You can find more resources and how to work with me at thestrategicbookkeeper.global. All the links are in the show notes. Have a prosperous week, and I'll see you in the next episode.